Hi, welcome to Infodumpies. My name's Brianne. I'm autistic, I have ADHD, my pronouns are she, her, and if we're talking about my best lifts in the gym, I think my bench press, I'm at like 1.5 pit bulls, and then I think if we're talking overhead press, I'm at about 3 really heavy bags of groceries.
Nice. Hell yeah. Good job.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Violet. My pronouns are she, her. I have ADHD, and the density of my human body is roughly 1.01 grams per cubic centimeter squared. Or, no, cubic centimeter. That's another weird one. Grams per cubic centimeter, not squared.
Girl, I got dyscalculia and I cheated my way through math since the 7th grade. Fuck if I know.
Well, this is going to be great for you because we're going to be measuring things today, and we're going to be measuring them with units that are not the conventional units. So maybe one of them will stick with you and be able to be like, oh, I just need to measure things in lignes rather than inches or whatever, right?
Yeah, it is no joke. When I am lifting, every time I lift, I do think of our dogs, and I'm like,
hell yeah,
whoa, it's like I have a Falcao at either end of this barbell.
Yeah, because Falcao's 45 pounds.
Yep.
He's a big boy.
A big, strong boy.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm talking about measurements today, particularly weird measurements. I went down a whole rabbit hole on this because I just started to have a conversation on Discord the other day with some of our friends about the way Americans refuse to measure things in normal units and how...
Yes, yeah. Inspired by the episode of Today's Lucky Winner where people are measuring something in refrigerators.
Yes, thank you. Exactly. That was what originally inspired this, because there's an episode called 8 Refrigerators Tall. And when I was preparing our Patreon post for that episode, I was making a joke that said something to the effect of an alternative title for this episode could have been roughly 47 feet tall based on the average height of a refrigerator. And it kind of sent me down to a whole rabbit hole thinking about it. And oh wow, it's weird. We as humans have always throughout history wanted to measure things, but that's kind of a problem because there's lots of us. A lot of us have different ideas on how things ought to be measured, and always have throughout history. There's a lot more standardization now today with how globally we can communicate, but still in this year, obviously, there is not one unified system of measurement for the most part. Measuring things is a science. It's called metrology. Were you familiar with that?
But that sounds like a school of magic.
It does sound like a school of magic. Metrology. It's literally metrology. And so in my mind, it's like, oh, that's the science of like high-speed trains, right? The metro. But it's really measurements. It's the science of measurement, which, to quote the original, well, we'll get into this. There's an organization that handles how we measure things, and we'll get into all of that. But they define it as metrology is the science of measurement embracing both experimental and theoretical determinations at any level of uncertainty in any field of science and technology.
So it sounds like they would welcome my pit bull measuring system.
I think they would. What is the most common measurement throughout history? The most important, I would say, I don't know what the most common is. I wasn't able to find that, but I will say the most important and probably the most common is the
hands?
The meter.
Oh, the meter.
Yes.
I was just thinking before we had the meter, people were using hands from being a horse girl.
Oh,
but anyway, tell me about the meter.
People were using so many things other than hands. Oh my God. You tell me you measured a horse with hands. They measure things with horses. Did you know that? A horse is a unit of measurement. A horse length is a horse racing distance measurement. Oh, I knew that. 3 horse lengths behind the next horse. That's a measurement.
Yeah, I knew that one.
Yeah.
My dick's so big I have to measure it horses.
Exactly. People have come up with all sorts of inventive ways of measuring length. And there's a lot of things that we measure, I should say. We also measure time, which is the most common unit for that would be seconds. It's a base unit, is considered. There's an organization called the NIST, International System of Units, or sorry, NIST is I forget what NIST stands for. I didn't actually note that down. But they have an international system of units. NIST is this organization that creates standards for things. They make standards for all kinds of things, and we'll get into that. So, like, you can use these things as a measure, and we're going to get into that because it's very fun. But there are 7 standard base units of measurement in modern day. The standard unit of length is meter. The standard unit of time is second. The standard amount of substance is a mole, if you remember that from science class. Nice.
No, I recall.
Hell yeah.
I do like the phrase amount of substance.
Amount of substance, right? It's such a good, like, yes, an amount of substance. Because
Yes,
you're not
I
saying
do.
it's a solid, liquid, whatever. You're just saying something. Amount of something, right? You're measuring a quantity. I guess quantity implies plurality almost. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, electric current is something that we measure in amperes or amps, you more commonly hear. Temperature, the standard unit is Kelvin. I think it's very funny that that's the standard unit because that's also some guy's name. Luminous intensity is measured in candelas, and mass is measured in kilograms. Those are the 7 standard SI base units. Now, length is a very common way that there's a lot of different ways to measure it, and I found that was some of the most interesting conversationally to talk about. In ancient Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt, one of the first standard measures of length was the cubit. In ancient Egypt, the royal cubit was used to build the most important structures, was the length of the pharaoh's arm from elbow to the end of the middle finger plus the span of his hand.
Always measuring things by king's arms, huh? We always
sometimes
have
legs.
been. Sometimes legs, yeah, but it's just funny
arms.
because our shitty American imperial system is based on how big some guy was.
Oh, absolutely.
And then they're like, no, we're not the first ones to do that. We got the ideas from ancient Egypt.
The yard is based on the length of King Henry I of England's outstretched arm.
I mean, cool.
Mille passus in Latin, or 1,000 paces, is where the word mile comes from, and a pace is 1 step with your left foot and 1 step with your right foot.
So, not like people have much different step lengths.
Yeah, no, people never have different step lengths. Everyone steps the same length.
You and I definitely have the same step length with my stubby little 5'4" legs.
Yeah. The way that we used to measure land was with rods, and the length of a rod was the length of 16 randomly selected men's feet, and multiples of it defined an acre.
I'm sorry?
Yep, you heard me right. The length of 16 randomly selected men's feet and multiples of it was used to define an acre.
How did they... Hey, I need 16 random men. I've got to take a real good look at your feet. Let me look at your feet. Let me measure
with 16 random dudes' feet, end to end. They took that measurement and used that to make the definition for an acre, which I don't have it on my notes, but it's some amount of rods, basically, which is wild. And that was historic. But the metric system, where meter comes from, was invented in 18th century in revolutionary France as a result of a lengthy effort to establish such a universal system of measurement, one that wasn't based on a king's arm or a king's dick or whatever. It varied not from person to person, but they wanted a system that would endure, to quote the French people, for all times, for all peoples.
I mean,
right?
I think they nailed it.
I think so. When they tried to do this, what happened was they had a convention. This convention had a really long name. Everyone just calls it the Meter Convention, which I think is a great name. What they actually called it at the time was the Convention to Assure the International Unification and Improvement of the Metric System and its Annexed Regulations.
Listen, I love nerds, but we are not good at creating short, pithy titles for things most of the time. We love, no, you need to know what the entire conference is about just from the title.
That convention was essentially an international treaty. It was signed on May 20th, 1875, and then it was amended later in 1921 for reasons we'll get to. It's an international treaty, and the purpose of which was to create an international organization called the BIPM. The BIPM is the Bureau International des Poids et Mesures.
BIPM.
That's the official name. It's the international organization through which members of the organization work together on matters related to metrology. One of the first things that they did was create something called the meter of the archives.
Is this like the meter by which all other meters are measured? Meter prime?
Essentially, at the time, yeah. The meter of the archives was a platinum bar initially used to define the meter, but it wasn't originally 1 meter long.
So the meter has changed.
No, they just made
They just made it bad? The one by which the standard we set for everything, we made it wrong
for
and
all
bad?
people, for all time. Yeah. The meter of the archives was a platinum bar initially used to define the meter, was not 1 meter long. It was intended to be 1/10 millionth of the distance from the Earth's equator to the North Pole along the Paris meridian. So that very specific from here on the Earth to the North Pole, and then divided by 10 million.
Yeah.
Because they were not able to accurately at the time measure the Earth's size and shape, the bar ended up being slightly shorter than a meter.
Hey, if you lack the technology to make the base measurement you need to create that thing accurately, what a wild... Just throw your hat over the fence. Just be like, yeah, no, we got it. We can do that. But you couldn't.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the reason they chose platinum was because it was a metal that was considered very, very durable and would not shrink or expand or change in size and shape from humidity, all sorts of things. After that meter of the archives was first made, they made 30 copies out of platinum and iridium, a combination of the both, which was significantly more durable than platinum alone. The bar would also no longer be flat, but it had like an X-shaped cross to it with like flats on the top and bottom, so that it was less likely to expand, it would resist distortions and things like that. It was still not quite correct, but they made like 30 of them and gave them out to the different states that were part of the group. So I just think that's very funny. There was a whole bunch of stuff that happened as a result of that. Like nothing major happened because it's a standard used of measurement. Like it's a standard measurement, and what they based it off of was essentially arbitrary in the first place, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to do? We have the meter. The meter is now more accurately that length, right? Or rather, the meter still is what it is, which is not quite the length of
that it was intended
Paris
to be.
Yeah, but it is what it is. What else have we used to measure things? Because we used to use things to measure things, but a lot of those are obsolete and were made obsolete by the meter convention. A lot of these were things that just didn't catch on. There are some things that are still used, but they're only used for very specific things. For example, a ligny.
Ligny's balls.
Ligny's balls, thank you. A ligny is how you measure buttons. There are 40 lignies in 1 inch, and so you use lignies to measure button diameter.
Hey, why can't you use millimeters or something to do that? Because when I buy buttons, because I'm American, they'll say like an inch or 7/8 inches or, just the diameter. Because it's not been... Lignies?
Yeah. It was used prior to the meter convention for a little while. In the 1799, it was established in law what the length was, and they also used a measurement at the time called lines, and so it was 443.296 lines. Lines were very, 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 very tiny measurements. It is used very little today, but it is used by French and Swiss watchmakers to measure the size of watch casings, and also in button making and sometimes in ribbon manufacturing. But yeah, the Ligny. I have a whole bunch more here. There is hands, like you mentioned. It's a non-standard unit of length equal to exactly 4 inches.
Yeah, I remembered that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You knew that. Cool. It's used pretty much all over the world. It's customary when using hands. You probably know this. I'm trying to think of the way to say this properly. When you measure in hands, you don't say like 1/10 of a hand. You measure in hands and quarter hands. So like 1 1/4 hands, right?
That's what I remember, yeah.
Yeah. A quarter hand is an inch.
Yeah.
15.1 hands normally means 15 hands, 1/4 hand or inch, so 5'1". So that means
I am 15 3/4 hands. No.
I am
No, actually, wait, no. I'm just 16 hands high.
hell yeah. I am 18 2/4 hands high.
So my horse as a
I'm a
kid,
big horse.
my horse as a kid was 15 hands high. So he was a big boy.
Not as big as me.
Well, no, because when you measure a horse in hands, do you know what point on the horse you measure from?
I think the shoulder?
Yes, it's actually called the withers.
Ah, gotcha. They should measure it in quangs instead.
Quangs, what's a quang?
A quang is a traditional Chinese unit of area used in statistical sampling, equal to 0.11 square meters or 1 Chinese square foot.
Interesting.
They used to measure things and like plots of land in cow's grass. Cow's grass was used as a measurement to indicate by farmers the size of their fields. 1 cow's grass is equal to the amount of land that could produce enough grass to support a cow.
But hey, I don't know how much land that is unless you tell me.
1 cow's grass is roughly like half of a morgan.
I don't know them.
Oh, so a morgan is approximately the amount of land tillable by 1 man behind an ox in the morning hours of a day.
Listen, they haven't met me. My Morgan, I bet will be very impressive because I'm great at manual labor and I bet I'd get along great with an ox.
Did you know that there's something called a superfoot?
I'm afraid.
So a superfoot is also called a board foot. A board foot or superfoot, which I think is a cooler name.
That sounds like it sounds like a wrestling thing.
A superfoot? Oh, it definitely does.
Yeah, because there's a super kick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So when you measure like a 2x4, that is 2 board feet or 2 board inches by 4 board inches. It's a unit of measurement for the volume of lumber. It equals the volume of a board that is 1 foot in length, 1 foot in width, and 1 inch in thickness.
That's how you measure wood?
The volume of wood.
That's how people should be talking about how big their wieners are.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, absolutely. There used to be something called a hoppus foot.
Hoppus foot?
Yeah, it's a system of measure for timber in the round. So standing or felled round
theater?
trees.
Oh, round. You say in the round, I think theater.
Yeah. It's used or was used, I'm not sure if it's still used, to estimate the value of sawn lumber in a log by measuring the unsawn log and allowing for wastage in the mill, following something called the quarter girth formula.
So go out, because we had a big tree limb fall, and Violet went full lesbian mode and got the chainsaw and chopped it up. You can go practice your hoppus and what's the wastage thing?
If you're getting your tree sawn in a mill, it would account for the wastage that would occur there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me how many hoppuses those logs are.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if you're measuring your wiener, because it is in the round,
it would be a hoppus.
It would not be a hoppus foot unless you plan on milling your hog.
Well, I don't ever plan on milling my hog, but the mood strikes. And
have you ever heard the term a cord of firewood?
I have, yes.
So I thought that was a standard amount of firewood. It's not. It is a kind of general amount of firewood. The cord is a unit of dry volume used in Canada and the United States to measure firewood and pulpwood. A cord is an amount of wood that, when, quote, ranked and well stowed, which means arranged so pieces are aligned, parallel, touching, and compact, occupies a volume of 128 cubic feet. This corresponds to a well-stacked woodpile 4 feet deep by 4 feet high by 8 feet wide.
So someone did try to come up with a rough standard, when really
Yeah.
a cord of wood was almost as precise as saying a handful of something.
Yeah. It's because trees and how they work and their sizes and everything vary so much by region, it is considered a non-standardized, there's no precise standardized definition for it, which I think is interesting. There are also, in America especially, a lot of what are called casual units, which is where we measure things like in dogs, for example. We measure things by the volume of a double-decker bus, if you've heard that term or phrase.
Which is funny, okay? Because we don't really have those here.
We don't. Exactly,
You
we
might
don't.
find the occasional megabus, but, we don't really do those. And it's weird that we say that.
Yeah. It is informally used to refer to the size of sinkholes or sewer collapse holes that get created. So, for example, a report might refer to a hole as a 4 double-decker bus hole.
Oh, there's a joke there.
Yeah. We use Olympic-sized swimming pool. In the UK, they use Royal Albert Hall, a large concert hall, as a unit of volume in the UK. In Australia, they use Sydney Harbour for a volume of water. The amount of water in Sydney Harbour, which is approximately 562 gigaliters.
How would they measure the Lords Harba left over from October?
I don't know. But the Grand Canyon, we use kind of similarly to measure
We do,
volume.
yeah. Which
Yeah,
is
it
funny,
is-
because if you've been to the Grand Canyon, I could see fuck all down there. I could make no generalizations about the volume that thing would hold. It's so grand.
Yeah, according to one of my favorite organizations, the National Park Service, the volume of the Grand Canyon is 4.17 trillion cubic meters.
It just gets to certain numbers where I can't even conceptual. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, let me help you. So it's about 4 orders of magnitude larger than Sydney Harbour in Australia.
Okay. I've been to the
Yeah.
Grand Canyon. I've not been to Sydney Harbour, so.
There's a whole lot more, and I could definitely go through. But I have a few other ones that I want to touch on just before we go as very obsolete units of measurement, before we move on with a few other things that I have. There is a type of measurement called a scrupulum, which comes from the Latin scrupus, meaning sharp stone. And scrupulum means a tiny stone, and it indicates the weight of 1/24 of a Roman ounce. And I just thought the name was funny.
Yeah.
Scrupulum.
Oh, Lord, I failed and busted my scrupulum.
There's a measurement called a hobbit.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It is a Welsh unit of volume or weight formerly used in Wales for trade in grain and other staples. It was equal to 2.5 bushels, but also used often as a unit of weight, which varied depending on the material being measured.
That's so cute.
Yeah. Did you know that there is a unit of measurement called the Batman?
I didn't, but I'm extremely interested.
Technically, it's Batman. It is a Turkish unit of measurement that was used in the Ottoman Empire. In the Ottoman Empire, they measured things in Batmans.
Incredible.
It was a unit of mass used in the Ottoman Empire and among the Turkic people of the Russian Empire.
It has
also been recorded.
They were like, "Has anyone noticed how one Batman equals the same as one Bruce Wayne? Don't think about it too long."
I've never seen them in the same room.
Anytime I measure something in Batman's, the equivalent Bruce Wayne's also work.
Right. And the funny thing is, it's literally spelled Batman. It's a Batman. I saw this on a list of obsolete units of measurement, and I said, Batman, surely this is a joke. No,
I love
not.
it.
But yeah, it's Batman is technically what it I think is as close as I can get to the pronunciation. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, what is a Batman? A Batman is roughly 7 pounds and 5 English ounces. It's a little bit, about 16 pounds from what I could find, kind of roughly. There's so many numbers being thrown around on this page.
Batman only weighs 2 moogies?
A Batman. Not the Batman, but a Batman.
A Batman only weighs 2 moogies, my little Chihuahua mixed puppy.
I say about 16 pounds because different parts of the world used Batman as a measurement in some places, and there were differences in how it was used and how much it was. But it seemed to vary between 3 pounds to 16 pounds, depending on...
Oh, just 3 to 16 pounds.
Yeah. Quite a bit. So yeah, that's another fun one. Did you know that a large sack is an official unit of measurement?
Oh, my wiener, you have to know how many hoppuses that is. And my balls, you'd say they're about a large sack size.
Yeah, that would mean they are 224 pounds.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Also, the official definition of what a large sack is, it's equal to 2 sacks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a sack is 112 pounds.
So I can bench a large sack.
Hell yeah. And then the last weird measurement that I wanted to talk about before I get into the weirdest measurement that I wanted to really, really talk about was the pood.
The pood?
Pood. P-O-O-D.
Like we call Willow?
Yeah. So
it's
a pood,
poodles, measurements in poodles.
The pood was a Russian unit of mass equal to 40 funt.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. So a funt is... Oh, God. Hold on. I accidentally scrolled.
Listen here, you funt.
A funt, a Russian funt, was also an obsolete unit of measurement.
A Russian funt.
Yeah. And so to give you some context, a Russian funt is 96 zlotniks.
Oh, yeah. Explain it. Totally. I have some bearing on how long or wide a zlotnik is.
A zlotnik is a unit of weight equal to 0.1505 avoirdupois ounces, or 4.2658 grams. You're following all of this, right?
Of course I am.
Yeah. So there were, listen, okay, it's very simple. The Russian pound was also known as the funt. There were 96 zlotniki in a funt. A smaller unit, the lot, was equal to 3 zlotniki. And then there were 96 dolia in a single zlot.
I think the word funt is funny.
I think so too. It's very good. So
I could say you're serving a funt of cunt.
I love that. That's so good. So in the US, we have some weird measurements for things, right? There are customary ways that we measure things in the US. We have 1 foot, which is equal to 12 inches. 1 yard is equal to 3 feet, or 36 inches. We have 1 mile, which is 1,760 yards, or
5,280 feet.
5,280 feet, exactly. And those 4 measurements, inch, feet, yard, and mile, are often used for different purposes, but they are some of the most commonly used customary units of distance, of length. In weight, we use pounds and tons, and I could not fit it in the episode, but there are so many different kinds of tons. There's a long ton. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of tons out there.
Yeah, we're talking about a long ton in the Discord server, and I decided that's how I'm going to describe my poops from now on.
There's so many different types of tons that were used around the world.
But the basic American one is 2,000 pounds, right?
Yes, 2,000 pounds. A long ton, I believe, is like 2,200 pounds. So yeah. Capacity, this is where things start to get really weird. 1 tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. 1 cup is 16 tablespoons. 1 pint is 2 cups. 1 quart is 2 pints. 1 gallon is how many quarts?
4.
Yes. Ding, 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 you win. 1 ounce is how many tablespoons?
Is it 3?
2.
2. I was close.
How many ounces is a cup?
16. Oh, 8. It's 8 ounces in
8.
a cup.
Yes. How many ounces is a pint?
That would be 16.
Yes. Oh my God, you're killing it. How many ounces is a quart?
24. No, 28.
Mm,
36.
no.
Oh, I forgot that one. Oh, I failed
30.
you.
32.
32.
Ounces.
I failed you, my second grade teacher.
That's okay. That's okay. We use, in terms of volume, we use cubic units, which are cubic inches, cubic feet, cubic yards, etc. Sometimes in the UK, they use cubic centimeters. And sometimes in the US, we use cubic centimeters, especially when we're measuring density. And that is something that I want to get into next.
Cubic centimeters is used when in the US with sunscreen.
Oh yeah,
describing
absolutely.
the density of sunscreen you have to apply to get the prescribed SPF.
Yeah, that makes total sense. All of those measurements make sense, right? We also have area measurements, which is square feet, square yards. We have square miles. We have units of temperature, which is generally Fahrenheit, 32 degrees being the freezing point of water, 212 Fahrenheit being the boiling point of water. We also have legal definitions of these things in order to sell products that have specific amounts of things in other parts of the world. Because one American customary cup, if you're going to sell someone in the UK an American product, they measure things in milliliters. And this, let's say it's a cup of milk or whatever, a cup of drink, of beverage, right? That cup,
I love a cup of beverage.
How many milliliters is that one cup exactly?
240?
You're very close. You're very close. It's 236.5882365 milliliters.
Yeah, I knew I was close.
In the UK, the customary cup is that. The UK has their own definition of a cup, which is based on imperial fluid ounces, which is equal to 284.131 milliliters.
A cuppa.
So the US also has another definition of a cup called the US legal cup, which is equal to 240 milliliters.
I think that's the one I was thinking of with 240.
I think so. Exactly. That's the one you got spot on. And it's used mainly for labeling based on US laws, while the US customary cup is used for cooking measurements. On its face, when you say one cup, you technically need to specify customary cup, British cup, or legal US cup. And that's true for a lot of things. But the cup in particular is the one most commonly that has the legal definition because we measure things in cups so often.
And this is why you should just get a kitchen scale for baking.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. With all of these weird ways to measure things and all of these good ways to measure things, when we hear about somebody or something that is measured in an odd way, it makes it very clear that something isn't quite right if you do the math. Because all of these things have standards. When we are talking about standards, if you remember that group NIST that I talked about that makes standards for things, they make all sorts of reference materials. These are standard things that are meant as a reference for what does this thing mean. If a legal document says you can't have lead paint in children's products, what is the legal definition of lead paint? If you are going to make a law that says you cannot have lead paint, you have to define what lead paint is. And that's something, for example, that NIST does. You can purchase from them a sample of lead paint film for children's products. Like a sample of this is what lead paint on a child's product would look like if you were to test for it.
Okay.
The catalog of standard reference materials has everything from peanut butter, domestic sludge, hemp.
Hey, hold on. Don't judge.
Mm-hmm.
Domestic sludge?
Yeah, domestic sludge. If you're talking about you can't dump your domestic sludge here, what is domestic sludge? You have to define that. So they've
Mine
taken
goes in
scientifically.
The toilet. What the fuck are you talking about domestic sludge? What domestic sludge are we dumping? What is the sludge? Tell me the amount of substance.
Brianne, calm down. It's similar to urban particulate matter.
But what is particulate and what is a sludge? I demand to know what domestic sludge is. Is it something you make in your marital bed? I don't...
Honestly, so I can look at the catalog really quick. I don't know if it says...
So you heard the term domestic sludge and you didn't have to immediately figure out what it was.
There is more weird things. I do have a picture here I could send you of domestic sludge if you'd like.
I swear to God if it looks like cum.
Oh.
You send it to me.
A unit of SRM, standard reference material 2781, which is domestic sludge, and it's available for purchase only $751. Consists of a bottle containing 40 grams of dried, pulverized domestic sludge. It expires May 31st, 2050.
Okay.
Does it say what it is? Does it say? It does not say what it is.
Okay, I'm gonna... What
it says it's related to metal constituents in natural matrices.
Sludge.
I'm sorry I didn't look this up. I should have.
Wastewater solids.
Oh, it's shit.
Sewage sludge. It's $700 for dried pulverized shit. So when it may also be referred to as biosolids. So when I said I make mine in the toilet, I was exactly right.
Yeah. You can, if you need a legal sample.
That is a $700 thing of powdered shit.
Get out the way, Prada. Get out of here, Gucci. I don't care unless you're selling standard reference materials for domestic sludge.
You know, anytime I have to poop now, I'm going to tell you, gotta go make some domestic sludge.
So they sell standard reference materials for just about anything you might possibly need a sample of.
Yeah, like poop.
Yeah, they have domestic sludge, and my notes on the Patreon will have things to see in the catalog, such as peanut butter, which is just, this is the most standard peanut butter you can imagine. Domestic sludge, hemp. You can buy hemp from NIST and get standard reference hemp. Urban particulate matter. Lead paint films for children's products. Meat homogenate.
Oh, cool.
Don't you want to try a standard reference material for meat homogenate, Brianne?
Yeah, and I'm the weird one for not eating meat.
Now, I think I have to check really quick. How much is meat homogenate? Here we go. Meat homogenate. That's standard reference material 1546A, and it comes with 4 85-gram cans, 4 cans of meat homogenate. Would you care to guess how much a can or 4 cans of meat homogenate is, Brianne?
$4,200.
No, you're a little too high. It is $1,182.
Does it even say what meat?
It does not.
Just meat. Just meat.
It expires inexplicably January 31st, 2034.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Sorry. It does say. I found the standard reference material certificate of analysis sheet. It contains a mixture. Well, it doesn't really say in detail. It says a mixture of pork and chicken products blended in a commercial process.
I'm weird for eating beans all the time.
Now, given that, I think I might be able to look up what domestic sludge technically is. Like, what did they put in there? I gotta, hold on, because they have like a data sheet on it.
Yeah, on the domestic sludge, does it say Jerry's dried 11 o'clock poopy?
Well, here we go. Okay. Fuck. It says a bottle containing 40 grams of dried pulverized domestic sludge. It doesn't
Tell
say
me
what it
of
is.
your sludge.
What the fuck?
They went to the houses of 16 random men and collected septic tank materials.
I guess, yeah. It doesn't say what it came from, what it made of.
From a butt and poop. Shit from a butt.
It has instructions for drying.
That'll wreck your food. That'll wreck your food
baffled.
dehydrator.
I am baffled. But aside from meat homogenate, there is typical diet. You know what that contains? 2 packets, each containing approximately 5 grams of the freeze-dried homogenate of mixed foods.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and these certificates have elemental breakdowns of what they are. Like, here's exactly how much calcium is in it. Here's exactly how much phosphorus is in it, potassium, sodium, strontium, but it doesn't tell you what the fuck it is. It's an interesting read, legitimately. If you go to the NIST website, they have a catalog of standard reference materials. Go check it out. There's a bajillion things on there that are fucking wild. There is a certain company that likes to measure things in apples. Brianne, did you know that?
So, I think I did, because I saw part of the conversation about a certain person who's measured in apples.
Sanrio, the company that makes all your favorite belovable characters like Han Gyo-dan, like Hello Kitty, and what's the alligator's name? Bad Consequences or something. Do you know who I'm talking about? There's an alligator.
I don't know. As a kid, I liked Karopi.
Oh yeah, Karopi, absolutely.
Someone's gonna shit on the way I said that, but yeah.
Big Challenges is the
Big
name.
Challenges?
Have you not heard of Big Challenges? I love Big Challenges. I just forgot his name for a second. I'm sending you a picture of Big Challenges right now.
Oh my god. It looks like it looks like a Shin-chan alligator.
It really does. Big Challenges is Batsmaru's pet. Batsmaru, the blackbird penguin looking character.
Oh.
He's a little penguin.
Yeah,
He's like a mischievous penguin
yeah.
guy. His pet is Big Challenges.
Okay.
So yeah. But the company that brought you
it just showed me
a
a poster. It says, "I don't need Hello Kitty Island Adventure to experience big challenges."
I love that. Oh, that's good. But yeah, Sanrio, when asked how tall Hello Kitty is 5 apples tall and weighs 3 apples.
Which is especially disturbing, because to my understanding, she is a 13-year-old British child.
Yep, exactly.
So she is a human girl.
Hello Kitty is a human girl named Kitty White, who just happens to look like a kitty.
Yeah. This is the disturbing thing. Was it the 40th anniversary or something? I was still working at a comic book store when there was a big Hello Kitty anniversary. I forget which one. And we were getting all sorts of Hello Kitty merch and stuff in. And that came up and I was like, you got it. No, that's a kitty girl.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So on the Hello Kitty wiki, it says, while the majority of her official character profiles call her Hello Kitty or just Kitty, her real name is Kitty White, and she was born in the suburbs of London, England on November 1st. Her height is 5 apples and her weight is 3 apples, although various media depict much larger sizes. But those are official numbers. Here's the part that I have a problem with. She is portrayed as a cute, bright, sweet, and pure-hearted and tomboyish girl who can do anything she sets her mind to. Girl? That's a cat.
Yeah.
That's a cat. She could be a girl cat, but
yeah,
she's very clearly a cat.
She's very clearly a little kitty girl.
Yeah. But really, at the end of the day, 5 apples tall and 3 apples weight. For a human, this is a human being. What is the density of an apple exactly? If we're going to talk about how much Hello Kitty actually weighs, we need to talk about how dense an apple is. How much does an apple weigh? An apple weighs about 1/3 pound on average. So that means if she weighs 3 apples, Hello Kitty, the human girl,
1 pound.
weighs 1 pound. How tall is an apple? If you assume an apple is roughly round, and I think we can all agree they're pretty round, and the average diameter of an apple is 4 inches, 4 times 5, that means she is 20 inches tall.
Mookie weighs 8.5 Hello Kitties.
Now here's the thing. Assuming that she is not actually 5 apples tall, and she's actually a little girl, right? Like, let's say, I don't know, 4 feet tall, roughly. If we assume that she is a 4 foot tall little girl, and not, in fact, a weird, tiny little creature that is still somehow human, but still has the weight of 3 apples, if we assume what they're saying to a degree, that means that she would have a very low body density.
Oh,
Because she
no
would have a
shit.
very low weight. Yeah, she would have a very, very low weight and be roughly 4 feet tall if she's little girl sized. If we assume she's little girl sized but weighs 3 apples. The density of an apple is 0.46 grams per cubic centimeter. A human's body density is 1.01 grams per cubic centimeters. With that calculation, that means Hello Kitty has a body density of 0.267 grams per cubic centimeter. Less than half of an apple. Less than half as dense as an apple. This is roughly the same density as cork.
Why would they give those measurements for the kitty child?
I don't know. However, I did do some additional analysis to figure out what Hello Kitty's biology must be to accommodate this physiology.
Cork?
Well, if she's going to have roughly the density of cork, what does that mean for her physiology and her biological evolution? How has she evolved to accommodate this level of density?
No bones, some sort of carapace.
Hollow bones.
Hollow bones, like a bird, sure.
Yeah. Physical traits. Hello Kitty must be extremely buoyant. She would float effortlessly on water.
A strong wind would send her flying.
Oh, absolutely. She would have to have a lightweight frame. Their bones would have to be incredibly lightweight and porous, resembling bird bones or like honeycombed bones, if you would. The muscle and organ tissue would also need to be significantly less dense, perhaps with a much higher air or gas content. She would have to have large, lightweight lungs or an air sac. And let me ask you this. Does Hello Kitty's head seem proportionate to her body?
Oh, it's her air sac.
It's her air sac.
She breathes.
That's not her face.
She breathes
That's
through
her
the
air
head.
sac.
That's Hello Kitty's air sac.
Exactly. That's her air sac, right. She would also have reduced muscle mass and density, so that means she would be very, very weak physically. She would also have to have very, very thin skin and minimal subcutaneous fat. So she has essentially become a sort of balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that she is not translucent is surprising. However, she would probably have exceptional aerial mobility given the circumstances because she is so light, effortlessly able to traverse water, obviously. She would most likely be able to fall from any height and be completely unharmed due to her low density.
She would just float her way down.
Exactly. She would probably be able to hold her breath for a very long time if she was put into an environment where she was underwater and not able to surface for whatever reason.
Good luck getting her under there, though.
Exactly. Virtually unsinkable Hello Kitty. Extremely energy efficient. They would be most likely extremely energy efficient because the energy required to move such a low density body would be very minimal. Falls and general impacts, very low damage. So you're not killing Hello Kitty with a baseball bat. You're just not. She's bouncing right off. Weaknesses, however, we're talking vulnerability to wind, like you mentioned, blowing away in a strong wind, immediately lifted off the ground.
Have to have some sort of special weighted shoes.
Yeah. There would be a lot of difficulty. She likely has a lot of difficulty anchoring herself. And most likely, I imagine that's probably why she's often depicted standing very straight. She's like in a rigid pose,
that's
anchoring
true.
herself. Yeah. I was not able to figure out what she would have to eat to be able to maintain this level of density. I suspect that there may be some kind of evolved photosynthesis happening potentially to sustain herself.
Some special kibble for buoyant English children.
Exactly. Yeah. Special kibble for buoyant English children. Yeah. I mean, when we're talking about, what exactly these physiological changes would mean, we're talking extreme osteoporosis.
Oh, yeah.
Massive air sacs. Yeah. Massive air sacs, most likely her head. Strategic distribution of novel lipid types. We would have to have special types of fat that don't currently exist in order for this to be accurate. And we would have to have strategic fat depositions all over the body, most likely to be used kind of as ballast or to aid in keeping upright. I mean, it's wild. There's all kinds of things that would have to be true about Hello Kitty, but I think it's possible.
I think
a human.
Being a human, I think with that description, she'll be invited to join Charles Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters.
In summary, a human with a body density of 0.62 grams per centimeter squared would be a marvel of biological engineering, likely resembling a highly specialized, possibly avian-like or hyperbuoyant aquatic creature, rather than anything recognizable as a typical human. The mutations would affect virtually every tissue and organ from the ground up. One might say it would make you not look like a human.
But a kitty.
But a kitty
But
instead,
a Hello
perhaps.
Kitty.
Yeah. Perhaps the cat-like features explain everything, if you will. Yeah?
I mean...
No mouth, simple eyes. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's an air sac.
That's an air sac, yeah.
The sensory organs have been streamlined to the bare essentials.
Stripped down to the bare minimum.
The feline whiskers? No. Those are aerodynamic sensors in order to determine
some sort of
her location
also
in
maybe
space via
perhaps
air currents.
Operate as some sort of rudder.
Pointy ears? No. Those are air scoops. Stabilizers.
Mm-hmm,
yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Clearly. Small stumpy limbs? These are probably minimized to reduce her overall mass. She doesn't need powerful muscles for terrestrial locomotion because she's floating most of the time. And perpetual upright posture. Her internal organ arrangement and skeletal structure are likely optimized for this vertical orientation, and she would probably not be able to survive in other orientations. So don't flip over Hello Kitty.
No, don't flip her, she'll die.
So yeah, Hello Kitty is a human that morphed into a cat because her body was too non-dense, and that's
to be a little English girl anymore.
That's my story. Yeah, to be.
I love it.
She's still a little English girl. She's just also a mutant.
Wow,
a little freak.
This is some incredible journalism you've done.
Thank you. Make it make sense, Sanrio. Give us the facts. Show me the scientific papers about her mutations. I want to believe. Anyway, thank you. That's my soapbox.
Yeah, thank you. You found the scientific explanation. Thank you, Scully.
You're welcome. Also, I got to be real with you. I think I would be the Mulder and you'd be the Scully.
Realistically, yeah. You would be. You would think it. You would be like, I saw Bigfoot with tits. I'd be like, I don't think you did, baby.
Sick as
I
hell.
don't think you did.
I was like, let me draw it for you. I will
Bigfoot with tits.
Yeah.
If you like this episode, you can thank our Patreon supporters like Lily Ackers, Janice Weston, Jill Shambaugh, Bethany Glass, Percy, Chamberlain Foreman, Nunya B, Kate Michigoose, K Genius, Chibs1012, Dave Perrell, Megan E, Carl Brooks, Natasha Neves, Gus, Lutzi, Helen Clifford, B. Trostler, Sewing Sarah, Rachel Rachelson, Fintago, and Randy Lovings. You know the deal. If you want to help us out, the thing that makes the biggest impact is you telling other people about this show. We don't pay for ads and we don't take paid ads. And from an accessibility standpoint, you're helping my autistic ass, because if I were to go out there and try to promote and promo swap with other podcasters, I would never actually get the podcast done and I would get burnt out really quickly. So you telling other people about the show helps us out so much, like so much from a disability standpoint, which is not something I generally share with people, but we're kind of having a discussion about podcast promotion in the Discord server, and like, it's straight up an accessibility issue for me. I cannot talk to that many people I don't know and email back and forth and small talk and do promos and also produce the shows I do with the regularity I do. So if you want to share about the show in groups that you're in, Discord servers, subreddits, places where you think they would enjoy the show, that helps us out more than you know. If you want to help us out even further, you can subscribe and leave a rating and review on your podcatcher of choice. This helps us in the algorithms. It keeps the show active, gets us recommended to people who like similar stuff, and again, you help the reach of the show by interacting with our page on your podcatcher of choice. If you're in a place to help us monetarily, like the folks I mentioned at the beginning of this housekeeping section, you can go to the show details and find a link to our Patreon page where you get bonus material for all of Mixnomer stuff. We have a couple new shows that should be coming out in fall and winter, including the spinoff to Today's Lucky Winner. And there will be bonus materials for both of those too. It's going to be your one-stop shop to support this gang of weirdos who makes these shows for you. So if you are in a place to help us monetarily, tiers start at just $1 a month. And if you want to come hang out with us, you will also find a link to the Discord server in the show details. It's the best vibes, cool times, great oldies. It's the kindest, most supportive Discord server. I love it. It doesn't take my energy away from me. I actually feel more energized talking to these people, which is one of the highest compliments you can receive from me, because most people exhaust me, but the people in this Discord server do not. And everyone is so incredibly kind. It's just such a cool group, and I am so proud that so many truly, truly kind sweeties listen to the stuff we make. So if you want to come hang out with some certified sweethearts, come join the Discord server with the link in our show details. But that's all I've got for you this time, my friends. Until next time, clever sign off.